they hang out.
God, no, I was doing something with shoot, I
I'd be on it.
like,
Come on.
You're unmuted now. We are.
Okay, can I call the meeting to order? Let's stand for the meeting. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have an agenda for John. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Okay, we have a motion that's been first and seconded. All in favor? Say aye. Anybody opposed? Carries, motion carries. Now we have public comment. We have Carol Croft. Oh, yes, I do. Carol, can I take just a minute?
Sure can.
To read the statement prior to it? Just like to address
But
that.
I do want
know
to
we
just
know.
say, I've listened to these online and very difficult to hear.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if members can really speak up and anybody who speaks, anybody who can't make it to the meeting with me, that to know what's
Right. Okay, well, the board welcomes public input. We ask that you model the behavior that we hope to see in our students. We encourage speakers to consider words carefully and refrain from personally, directly discriminatory, abusive, or obscene language or complaints regarding any individual staff member or student. The board president may interrupt and or terminate the individual statement if the allotted time of 3 minutes is expired or if student privacy is violated. Public comment period is not a time for dialogue between the board and the public. It's to align the Open Public Meeting Act. The board will not respond to statements, questions, or challenges made during public comment period, and there will be no back and forth dialogue. Please know that the board's silence is neutral and signifies that they are listening thoughtfully.
Good evening, Dr. Bergman and the Quincy School Board. There are 4 subjects I would like to speak to the board about this evening. First of all, safety and security in the Quincy School District. I worked as a district educator and administrator for 30 years and never once felt unsafe in any environment in the district. I was impressed in the past with the depth of planning for safety and response in our district and was again reminded during Assistant Superintendent Garza's presentation that this attention to detail is still being reviewed and updated as needed. Systems are in place at all levels across the district and in collaboration with local authorities. It was also reassuring to hear how the school board plans to continue to work with the district team through the proper channels in continuing this important work. I would like a little sidebar to that comment. I serve on the volunteer of the Community Student Engagement Committee, which is really the truancy board. And we sometimes get comments by students about safety concerns that they have never taken to their parents or the school. So just a reminder to all who have those concerns, if you're not addressing a chain, how would anybody know? Very soft. Secondly, the social studies and science presentation made by the Director of Teaching and Learning, Allison Gately, was exciting to say the least. It is reassuring to know the continued work to provide optional educational experiences for our students is still in place at a high level in our district. The Quincy School District has long been ahead of other school districts in our area and across the state in this endeavor. Diligent administrator support and extremely dedicated educators make this work a reality in our classrooms each and every day. Thirdly, I was dismayed to hear a community member disparage our school board as rubber stamping important decisions they make for students and families in our district. A most uninformed comment, as I have seen time and time again, the dedication and timeless hours school board members put into serving this community by making informed, well thought out decisions. I see no decision why this responsible dedication would not continue now and in the future in the board endeavors to serve all students and their families in our district. Finally, I would like to commend the exemplary music and drama departments in our district. Performances are exceptional and undoubtedly have had and will have a significant impact in student lives now and in the future. Lives have literally been changed by top-of-the-line educators and school and community support groups continuing to make art programs available and a priority to all students in the Quincy School District. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we have the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions about the items that are listed on the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Sorry, hold on, yes, I did.
Oh, you do have.
Eye observation renewal, can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so eye observation is our evaluation system that we use for our teachers. Okay. So all of our teachers have their evaluations, score, comments, feedback, everything is good with that system.
I'll motion to accept.
Motion carries. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We have several reports. We have a special recognition tonight for HS Theater Club. Haley Weber and team.
All right. And team. Hello, my name is Haley Weber. I am the theater director at Quincy High School. This is my 4th year here in the district. And it would be very dishonest of me to say that I'm operating on my own, as I am not. These 3 people here and many who came today in the audience, we have students and parent volunteers who have been extraordinarily helpful to us. I will talk about them later. Have been instrumental in creating the space that we have, the culture that we have, and the level that we are operating at. And so we have Kylie Youngren, who is our music director, choir teacher extraordinaire. We have Elise Bosman, who is a counselor at Monument Elementary and was a counselor at Quincy Middle School, and she's been with me all 4 years. She came on a little bit after I had started Anna Green Gables, which was a full production that we did post-COVID, which was pretty cool in spring 2020. And then we have Bryce Goslin, who is my tech director, who helps build my imagination through sets and tells me no, and we can't do something because it's a little too cray-cray. And so I'm actually going to let them say a couple of words, and then I will get into logistics and some really cool celebrations.
Great. So this is my 7th musical with the high school theater, the Addams Family, which we just closed this weekend. And I think something really special about our high school theater programs is that I think we're one of the few theaters to not completely go dark during COVID. We were about to open our spring musical in spring of 2020, had our last rehearsal a week before everything shut down. So final dress, there it was. However, Haley came on then in the fall of 2020, and her vision and passion for the program was shining from the beginning. Even though we were full online, we were still able to put up a production December of 2020. And to see that vision and passion blossom into what it is now because of her 4 years of dedication and work and support, which once again you'll hear about later for the program, has been really special. A lot of times we hear our students are talented, and yes, they absolutely are, and I hope that never negates the hours of skill and effort that they are dedicating to this program and to these projects. And yeah, it's really a demonstration of skill that you're seeing and a demonstration of practice. And those hard skills that they are doing are going to apply no matter what they do, whether it's in the arts or outside of the arts. When we think about Quincy School District and our mission of culture of safety and learning, that absolutely is at the center of the program. And you're going to hear from kids later as well as some that really has to share about how we've seen that exemplified through our program.
Yes, I was just going to speak to just what a wonderful year it's been and what a full season it's been. We had some really awesome shows this year, and the students really stepped up and put in so much hard work. Like Kylie was saying, they worked so hard in the musical and the play, and it's just been really wonderful to see our seniors really helping our new students coming in and mentoring them and really doing what they can to make sure our program continues to be strong even when they leave the program. And so it's been really cool to see the community and them really taking ownership of it. And it's really awesome.
And I just wanted to highlight a couple things from this production in general that were just amazing we've never had before. We had, just so you guys know, we've been running lights for the entire show, freshmen running sound for the entire show, seniors taught both of them, and that was awesome. And then we also had a ton of parent involvement for the first time ever doing meals, and it's just a couple of things that really I saw wanted to respond. So.
We had a total of 65 students who joined us this year. So from the fall to spring, that is the highest number that we've ever had. I started with 18 when I first came on 4 years ago. And so that's been a really great, beautiful, whoa. We had 40 for the spring musical for Adams. We had 25 for the fall play. For the Adams family, we had over 1,000 people come and see our show for the 7 performances that we put on. We had a record-breaking opening night of 210. That's the highest audience that we've ever had. It was on opening night, and that was like, whoa, you're coming to help see us? We love it. It was so cool. Like Kylie said, it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of skill. They are talented, but it takes time, just like a sport, right? You've got to practice, practice, practice. And we rehearse 5 days a week for 2.5 hours after school. So from 3:30 to 6, we are at the school. And then we come in on Saturdays, usually bi-weekly, but as we get closer to the show, it's weekly for 6 hours. And that's when we build, paint, look at lights, sound, and that's with our tech students. We graduate 17 seniors this year, and we had a really wonderful senior send-off on the last night of Adams where they took their final bow. It was emotional for us as most of these students have been with me since day one, and they've really shaped me into the educator I am today and what our program is and continues to be. We talked about it on Saturday, and quite a few of them are sitting in the front row right here. It's going to be really weird not having them around, because when I think of our program, I think of them, I see their faces, and it's just really cool. Like Bryce said, that they have taught a lot of our younger students, and so they really are leaving a beautiful legacy behind at QHS. We are proud to say that every student had passing grades, because if they didn't, they could not perform. We were holding them to that standard, just like in athletics. There was a lot of them that were really cutting it close, but they got them up, and that was terrifying for us because it's not like a sport where we can sub in and you got to sit on the bench. They all have a part. They all have a specific role. They are the curtain people, they are the spotlight, and if they are not there and their job is not filled, it really throws a wrench in stuff. And so that was like a huge thing for us. So we had 40 kids working on this, and they all had passing grades. And at the end, there was 12 of them, and I was gonna puke because I was like, oh my gosh, get it together, because those 12 kids were instrumental. Well, they're all instrumental, but I was like, if there's one kid, God, it's not gonna work. And we were freaking out, and they just they did it. They got through it. Yes, we did this, we did this. 2 people who are not here who have also really helped are Kylie's husband, Riley. He's basically like the piano man, and also his theater and choir dad to a lot of these students. He kind of just rolls in and helps out wherever. Same with my husband, he's the head girls track coach, and in his off season, he's helping us. But I never have to ask him to come. He always is just like, I'm here. And he's like, put me in, coach. What do I gotta do? Bryce talked about the snacks and meals that were provided for us from parents, which was absolutely outstanding. That was a big thing for us. They donated meals for us for our really late tech nights, which it's 3:30 to 9 p.m. And so those are really, really late rehearsals because it takes a lot to see what you saw on the stage. And that was nice to have meals provided, and we were fed and kept the kids happy and yummy, ready to go. Great. Now the people that I really want to recognize. So we have our theater boosters, the Jackrabbit Theater patrons who do many things for us that I can't even list all of them. And a lot of them are here. Can you guys just raise your hands if you are on our, yes, be proud, be proud, yes. Heidi Manley, who took over our concessions and lobby area, she runs that and manages that and makes sure that all of that is beautiful when people walk in. I've never asked her to do that. She kind of just took over, and I have always been like so thankful and grateful for that. Susan and Warren Lippert. Warren also helped building our sets and did a lot of other random things that were amazing. He's also been helping our student Alicia here with our Instagram and Facebook page and really helping it advertising out. And also there's son Warren Jr., who assisted in ticket taking at the door. Lynette Milburn, who steps in to fill holes for concessions and really anything that possibly could be needed last minute. Through their help, the four of us are really able to focus on the students and help when last minute things come up because they're kids, you know. And so when things kind of go a little haywire and a little crazy, or we've got crying or there's someone hurt or whatever, it's nice to know that all of those things are being taken care of and we can really focus our efforts on the students. And it takes so much stress off of us, and it's unbelievably amazing that they've just said, yep, we're in. Something else that was really new this year and in this show that really needs to be highlighted is the outstanding costumes that we had. And if you saw Adam's Family, you'll notice just the care and detail that was put into those. And that is coming from a troop of moms who've shown interest in our program and the willingness to teach our students how to sew and create the costumes. All costumes that you saw on stage were designed and built by Cassie Nelson, who's here, Susan Lippert, also there, and Charlotte Hernandez. Yes. These women have taken it upon themselves. I never asked them to do this, to ask me what my vision is for the show. They come up with a color palette, designs, and then in turn, they teach the students how to create them. The musical was the first time that we had student costume assistants. And they really took ownership over the fact that they were sewing costumes and even came up with rules about how to care for the costumes, rules for the dressing rooms, hallways, makeup application and sharing. And then they actually created videos with Warren's help where they like talked to the kids and were like walking around and they made up funny little skits. And it was like the one thing that they did a lot was stop. What are you doing? And then they would teach them like what you should not be doing. And we watched that before dress rehearsals. And then they could say, watch the video, like this is how you apply it. And so the kids were ready to apply their makeup, knew how they were supposed to wear their costume, all of those things prior to dress rehearsals. And a lot of these ideas were fostered through the passion and interest of these three women who believe in what we're doing at the theater program. And yeah, it's just amazing. Now this is something that we'll have every show thanks to them, and they do it on their own volunteer time. And they're there just the same amount of hours as we are, problem solving, bringing us coffee when we're dying, without being asked. They're just like they show up with it, and just pouring into the students in a way that's genuine and really makes me proud to live here and be in this community. There's a tradition that we have on closing night where we sit around. It's called the ghost light. It's this really tall light, and it serves two purposes. One, it's safety. When you walk into the theater, it's a light that just stays on so you don't fall into the orchestra pit or bump into things. So there's a light on because it's pitch black in there. And then also it's just a superstition in the theater world that it keeps the ghosts company while everyone is gone, so they are not mischievous and cause harm. But on the last night of the show, we sit around in a circle and we do what's called the compliment circle, and each kid compliments each other. You can only compliment one person, so if that person is complimented, you have to choose someone else. And it's a way that we put the show to bed and they get kind of closure. And so I want to share some of the things that were said from these students, anonymously, of course. A student mentioned how I grew up without a dad, and having Mr. Gosson around to show me how to use power tools and to be a man really changed a lot of things for me, and I'm really grateful for that. Another student mentioned, I told Mrs. Weber how I failed my biology test, and it made me feel so stupid. I felt dumb, but she told me that your grades don't define you. You'll take it again and pass. That was a defining moment for me, and I'm so glad she gave me a space to be myself and try to be successful. Students told each other, they stated how some classmates are now their sisters or brothers in ways that they've never had one. Students mentioned that this is a real safe place, not just a place that's called a safe place, but that our directors have created and fostered a place where they found homes and a family while at school. Another student mentioned how this place, the theater, taught me about life, and I'll be forever grateful for that. I'm going to take that with me forever. Thank you for that. Students were crying and thankful, and it was a beautiful moment. It's one of my favorites every time, and at the core of what we do, we insist that students learn to be kind, see others, and to know that when you make mistakes, it's not a mistake, but instead a gift, and you should use that for life. I do have two students who would like to speak. They're both seniors, and that's Alicia Leslie Pineda and Beverly Morales. So I'm gonna give that over to them. Do you want me to stay up there with you? I'll just stay up there. Great. Yeah, I got it. So my name is Beverly Granados. I'm a senior. I've been a part of theater since Anna Green Gables, that first played post-COVID. I've had the pleasure of being both in tech and acting, so I can really give you a good idea of the program as a whole. And I just want to talk about some things that I personally learned in my 4 years there. I was there for every show. The first thing we talk about on the first rehearsal, they give you a packet and we talk about attitude. And I feel like my attitude has just changed completely. It's long hours, like you heard, and it can be really emotionally draining work. It can be tough. It can be, exhausting. And just being able to go in every single day and like seeing how everyone is so committed and so ready to just work hard. It was really inspiring, and it just really allows me to have a good attitude and have a good positive outlook on everything. Like Weber said, it's not a mistake, it's a gift. And that change in your mindset has been really great for me. Like just realizing no, this is something that I can learn from, and it's not a mistake, it's a gift. Another thing I want to talk about is adaptability. I personally was stage manager for 3 shows, and there's a specific moment that I remember where the lights just turned off and we were all freaking out, and I was like, what should we do? And my first thought was we have to get some light on these people. And I called the spotlights to turn on, and they turned on, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh, everybody's gonna know, and then nobody knew. But just being able to react in that moment to okay, what are we gonna do? Do something now. Was great, and it all turned out okay, and I feel like I just really learned a lesson that day. Another thing is time management. Since we're there for long hours, and we have our classes and life, it's just really learning how to prioritize things. I would get home from tech week and it would be 9:30, and I would want to go to sleep, and I was like, no, I have an essay to write, and I would write it, and it would get done, because I knew that if I didn't write that essay, I wouldn't be able to do theater, and it was a big motivator for me. Another thing is confidence. In theater, especially tech, it's all very student led. So it's a big confidence booster to have your directors give you a responsibility. And it's like faith. They're like, I know that I can sit in the house and watch the show and not have to be there next to you being like, oh, are you doing what you're supposed to do and stuff like that. So I felt like I just gained so much confidence from being able to call shows and like be trusted with a responsibility that like this show is in our hands now. And that can be heavy, but it was definitely something that I noticed myself and my peers blossoming under. And the reason that we always end up coming back to theater, I feel like our seniors who've been there every single show is because of that community and that family that we created, that the directors created, with their kindness, with their joy. It's just a true safe space. It really is. Everybody is treated like an equal. They never talk down to you. Everybody shows so much love and kindness, and it's such a good space to just be yourself in and really try to find yourself in. I would just like to finally point out the growth of the program, because since, like I said, I've been there for so long. I remember when your costume was whatever was in the costume closet, and if it fit you, it was great. And let's go, get on stage. And now looking around and realizing all these people that want to help us and that are there for us, making our costumes, helping us with makeup, doing things backstage. I'm just so eternally grateful. And like, even though I'm leaving this program, I'm so glad to see it continue to grow. And I know that it will.
Hi, my name is Lucy Lastly, and I'm a senior at QHS, and I am this year's theater president. Today, I wanted to share the importance of theater and how the program has changed people's lives. Two of the most beneficial experiences gained from being a part of this program is connection and self-discovery. The collaborative nature of theatrical productions encourages mutual support, trust, and respect to not only those involved, but people in our day-to-day lives. It enables individuals to develop a deeper sense of empathy and compassion towards others. Additionally, the vulnerability required to perform on stage often leads to a great amount of personal growth and confidence and self-acceptance. I joined QHS Theater in my freshman year and was very surprised by the kindness and warmness received by its people, along with the sense of belonging I felt during rehearsals. The best way to describe it was like a home away from home. At this time, QHS Theater program was only beginning to grow, and that provided its challenges to both the students and the directors. However, these walls proved to be no match for the passion and dedication provided by the community we had created. And those examples being like costumes, we didn't really have a lot of help with that, or meals. I'm just so grateful for the community that had come to us. I personally had been so moved, I had stopped going to a sport or moved away from sport to dedicate myself to something I could grow and learn from. The sense of family we had created has extended and has created a pathway for Quincy's community to share the love and support for the arts. Today, our program is bigger than ever, and it is all thanks to the community that theater brings together. With this, the program has become a catalyst for both interpersonal and individual relationships. In a world where genuine connections are hard to find, the sense of community fostered by the arts provides a vital sense of authenticity, support, and family.
Morticia, you saw the show, and Beverly was a thing. Any questions for us?
What's the next show?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I'm not even lying to you. I have to figure it out soon because budget stuff is May. So I'm like, I don't know. But you'll find out in the end of May because we have our big banquet. We call it the theater gala. And so we announce the season then. So we'll all know.
Just have a comment. I had the privilege of getting a tour when I went with Nick, and it was so cool just to see the growth of that program, the use of that space. It's it's magical and so technical, and it's amazing to see the growth of the program. And you had also shared something really interesting that captured my attention. When I was in high school, the $5 was a barrier just to even enter. But it sounds like there's a lot of support to the program, so if youth are interested, you guys have eliminated so many barriers to ensure that there's opportunity for them to participate. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all of you, the staff that are in this program. It's amazing. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I want to say one more.
I had the privilege of being in this musical. Fortunately, life got in the way, but I really want to go back next year. As a student in the program, I was in theater helping for play, and then the next year I joined in. And the confidence it gives you, I like to what Missy said, as well as Beverly, like the confidence you get. And honestly, without theater, I would never would stand here with you guys and speak out. At one point, I spoke to the retired assembly when starting high school. I couldn't look at someone without being like, don't say you're talking to me alone. And I just want to thank that the police department as well as the whoever. Yeah, I'm content to that. So thank you.
And I just want to say thank you, Haley, too, and just for all the supporting cast of adults, boosters, the students. You guys were just absolutely amazing. I was able to attend my family, and it was just unbelievable. Just, you know, you build this grand space, and fingers crossed we hope it gets used. And then, you know, fast forward 4 years later, we have kids running through the aisles, another student on a jetpack, being operated by students. It just really is amazing, and just the inclusive space that you've created for our kiddos, it really is touching. I get goosebumps and emotional just thinking about it. And then your quote, a place to be yourself and find yourself. I wish I would have that gift as a 18, 45-year-old, you know, I mean, it really is just amazing, you know, and as, I might do the next one. You know, and as superintendent, you know, I sometimes hear comments about kids these days or the youth these days, and you guys are such an amazing example of kids these days are insightful. Kids these days are introspective. Kids these days are kind. Kids these days are empathetic. Kids these days are amazing. And you guys are such shining examples of that. And we're not having that. So thank you.
Mike's report by okay.
I am excited to address the board tonight to share all the, well, not all amazing things, highlight some of the amazing things that are happening at Eastern Lakes. And I just have one additional comment to do. When I hear about what's going on at the high school, and I think about what we're doing at the elementary level, and there's so many connections, and I hope to highlight those for you with what we're doing. So at Ancient Lakes, we know that students come to us with a variety of strengths, backgrounds, and interests. That's the first sentence on the About Ancient Lakes part. And the reason I want to highlight that is because that is driving what we're doing at the school. That is what we believe in, that's what we talk about, and that's what we want to honor in our instruction, our planning, and how we work and treat students. We also believe that students are going to find success in many different ways, and we want to keep a growth mindset about how they develop, how they grow, and how they find success. So in our school improvement goals, the first area we chose was growth and mastery priority standards. And the goal areas, the strategies that we're using to support that go right back to that interest and backgrounds. We want students to have multiple ways to show what they're learning and what they know. So we've started working really hard at performance tasks, and using those as a way to assess students and show different ways of showing the same content that they've learned. So our third, fourth, and fifth grade teams have dove into that really deeply in their PLC time, and I will talk a little bit more about that. Also increasing our students' ability to self-assess and their ability to reflect on what they're learning about and how it's changing what they know. And that starts at the kindergarten level. And we also want to be constantly celebrating growth and keeping that idea in our minds that little growth is still growth, and we might not be there yet, but we keep on trying, keep on working, and this things help us learn. For the culture of safety and belonging, it also connects into our students having various interest backgrounds and strengths. We focus very hard on developing school-wide PBIS experiences for students that they find fun, exciting, and engaging. Our PBIS team works very hard to keep modifying our tier 1 supports for students, which include things like the token economy. We use a badge system for students who are showing their self-managers. We provide special experiences every month for students to purchase with their token, or if they have a badge, they get VIP access. So that's very cool. But we continually work on our tier 1 PBIS strategies to support our students' interests and backgrounds. The next one that I want to highlight for culture of safety and belonging is our GLAD strategies. We are fortunate that our district is supporting teachers to continue to learn about GLAD. It's a very it's instructional strategies that support language development, but also student collaboration. It's very intentional about getting students to learn how to talk to each other and work together for a common goal. So that's part of our safety and belonging, because if we can teach our students to learn how to work together and collaborate, they're going to feel more safe in their community. And the last one is increasing our student voice and choice. We want students to be able to have a voice at our school. We want them to be able to make decisions on how they show what they know or how they produce different work. So we're working on increasing that voice and choice, and also focusing on making sure our instruction and our planning is considering all of our students' strengths and providing that inclusive piece for all of our students. So some of the growth that I want to highlight for our school, our STAR student growth, if you look at the winter, the fall to winter math, the fall to winter reading, or ELA, and then the fall to winter kindergarten. Kindergarten has a different STAR assessment. Close to 50% of our students are meeting or exceeding the growth expectations. And you look at data in so many different ways, and I know that nearly all of our students are growing. This percentage is showing you how many students are making their average growth, the expected growth for that short time. And we know that some of those students are growing double what they should have. Some of those students are barely making it, and some that aren't included in that percentage were very close to meeting the expectation. But nearly all students at each length are growing. And this is a really important gauge for a building leader to look at, because this tells me a temperature of the building. How many students are getting close to where they should get within that short time? It's a big picture view, and it's something to look at and see where we can grow from. Our kindergarten this year, they tried out STAR last year, and this was their first year where they said, can we do it in the fall so that we can see? Kinder doesn't generally do STAR in the fall, so they actually wanted that data point for themselves. So that they tried the fall and the winter so that they could see the growth that they had this year as well. Really exciting news for us. Last year we were able to exit 16 students from our program, which is a high number of students to exit in 1 year. So I can be here before it was maybe was 1 or 2. So the 16 students exited from our EL program, TVIP program. And if you look at the growth that we saw last year, On the WEED assessment, 78% of our first graders met their expected growth on their language development. Fourth grade, 71%, almost 72%, and fifth grade, 46%. So very high percentages of our students are meeting their language growth goals, and that is really attributable to the work that the teachers are doing in their PLC collaboration time to focus on language needs and make sure they're very intentional about teaching language in their content areas. Which goes into knowledge of students. So our knowledge of students has been a big part of what we're doing in our PLC time and our building collaboration. We are learning new strategies to try to increase our knowledge of our students. Not just like interviewing, like what do you like to do, but how do we learn as much as we can about our students, their strengths, their weaknesses, or we call them stretches, and then also what are their interests and what does their background bring to our curriculum. And teachers are working right now on looking at units and planning for including different ways to have students have more voice, more choice, and those come from knowing their students. So we have to know the students in order to plan for that integration. Another way that we're increasing voice and choice at Ancient Lakes is alternate recess. Last year I had a good amount of kids that would sometimes visit me in the office at recess. And one time I was talking to one of them and he said, well, I don't even like recess anyway, so I don't care if I miss recess. And I was like, I wonder how many kids actually think that. And so I thought to myself, well, what if we had some ways to have some choice during recess time? And within those ways, we could support our students who are lacking social skills to actually build their social skills with a little more supervision and monitoring. So our gracious specialists agreed to try out this plan, and they have been providing an alternate place for recess for students during their second part of their lunch. So after their lunch, some of the students come in small groups. Sometimes students are assigned to choose an alternate recess for some work on social skills, and sometimes students just pick on their own. So that has been a really cool thing that we've tried. It's increased supervision for students and decreased our office referrals during recess. And then just like our students, our teachers also have a variety of strengths. And I believe that all teachers are leaders. I don't know very many teachers that go into teaching and can't lead. They definitely have leadership skills. Some don't like to as much, but we want to highlight our teachers' strengths and bring them to be part of their colleagues' leadership and training. So this year for one of our lit days, we actually called on a few teachers that we had something to share, and we did a voice and choice for teachers. So the teachers got to choose where they wanted to go to learn some professional development from their peers and colleagues. So that went really well. It was my instructional coach's idea, so Frances Wilson, she gets the credit for that awesome idea, but our staff really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to trying that again in different ways. And then our parents are really taking action and ownership. I would call it a small group, considering my building has 387 students. I've had over 10 parents coming every month to our pack. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is the same core group that keep coming, and they are, we're gonna build, like that's the plan, but they're coming every time. They've been really appreciative of the topics we've been able to talk about. We've talked about PBIS, we've talked about our school improvement goals, and that was a really awesome meeting. They had questions about what does this mean? What is a performance task? How would you grade that? It was really good, deep conversation with parents who are really interested in what's going on at their school. And then it gives them an opportunity to talk about problems, things that they want to address, or even just to have a back and forth conversation about what's going on at school. So that has been really awesome. And the parents get to connect with each other. So that is my board report. Do you have any questions?
Curious, how do you get their children, especially like first or second grade, to do a self-assessment? Do you have specific questions or
So,
do they get the concept?
sometimes, usually smiley faces are a good way to show a smiley straight sad. They really understand that, or thumbs up, thumbs down. So if you're talking about, I did teach kindergarten for a while, so I have a little more background on this, but just, how you feel today, more really personal about the learning, it's a little more tricky. But I saw a kindergarten teacher today, I was talking through her class, and she was doing some assessments, and she could show the student the graphs, like, look at how much you grew. And then the students can say like that feels good, or why do you think you grew? What have you been doing? What did you do at school that helps you grow? Those kinds of questions, can really be specific with them, yeah.
On the teacher-led choice
Yes.
development, you said you sent a couple for more professional development. Do they have the opportunity to come back and share that with the other teachers?
So, sorry, I probably didn't explain that very well. So it actually was, we have a lit day where district-wide, we have questions, but there's one in February. And so there's a time of that lit day where we did two different 1 hour sessions. And there was teacher leaders, like I had one teacher that taught slide strategy. And then because she's had some extra training, so it kind of goes with what you're saying. They do have extra PE, or they're a specialist. One of my teachers specializes in reading intervention, and she actually had a well-attended upper elementary reading intervention skills. So she taught kind of what she does with her students, so that the teachers in the classroom could also try some of those strategies. So, yes.
Your groups of unit testing?
Yes.
What do you guys do to prepare for that, especially the other ones? Like I've heard a lot from the different schools
About WeNet.
Yeah.
So the WeNet access is, you have control over what that test is. But we do know what they're going to be tested on. We have a lot of training throughout our district. We do it at the administrator level and then at our building levels on how to set targets, learning targets for language within the content areas that will support students to access the language that they're going to need to do on that test. They test listening, speaking, and writing. And there's different points where the test changes. So like the kindergarten students are tested for interview, so that everything they're doing is one-on-one the interview. And then as they get older, you can actually, if you're really interested, you can go check out online. You can see the assessment like samples. So did I answer the question? Yeah, so we do a lot of work with making sure we have targets so the students know what they need to know. My TIP specialist, he actually creates his learning goals. There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then next to it gives an example of a sentence stem that the kids could use that would show that level. So level 1 might be like, I see a cat. Level 2 might be like, I see the cat is running at it, and have more, and then level 3 might be comparing. So he tries to demonstrate that to his groups, and then he actually shared that out at our lit day as well for teachers to try some different activities to support the students. Yeah.
One more question. In the making of progress, I don't understand. You have such a high percentage in the first grade. Why does it drop so much in the second and third grade?
That's a really great question. The test does get harder. Yes. So at a certain age with the language test, it increases the rigor for them. But also when the students are coming in kindergarten, a lot of our students have never practiced English at all. So they are going to have a big jump at some point of learning, and they learn rapidly. And what we find is our listening and our reading scores usually get higher quicker, and our speaking and writing come a little later. Thank you.
Okay, superintendent.
All right, I will keep my brief. Again, congratulations to QHS Drama, just on a wonderful play. May 1st, we have the regional WASDA meeting in Freda, 6 o'clock. Done registering, all board members can't just let us, let them know they can't make it, but I know your schedule is a little bit difficult, but just shoot down and know if you can't, that we're assuming everybody's gonna be there. It's a really good opportunity to go connect with other board members from our region. Congratulations to Destination Imagination. Update that we had 10 teams compete, 4 teams go to state, so it's really exciting to have that many teams from Quincy representing us at state at the end of this month, so that's really exciting. And then also it is Classified Appreciation Week. We have amazing classified staff here at the school district, from our paraprofessionals, our drivers, our food service staff. They're just amazing. They're the heart and soul of our district. So just want to wish them all amazing classified appreciation week. I feel like 1 week isn't enough to show our appreciation. I know how hard we work personally. My stepdad being a bus driver, and my mom being a school cook. It's exceptionally hard work and often undervalued. So very thankful for all of them. So that's the last thing I have on my report.
So, board leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have our students?
Oh, yeah, I do. I missed that. We'd like to.
For us,
Were you rock,
I
paper,
do.
were you rock, paper, scissors?
I was gonna mention that kind of family, but about it. Yeah, I looked about it more. It was amazing. We missed it.
Until next year.
We now have sneakers on sale. I think they're $15. They're honestly amazing. Our leadership class worked really well together.
You want to what's on sale? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, the ASB shirts.
Oh,
the
nice.
ASB shirts, senior shirts. The leadership class put together the design. We talked about with our leadership class seniors, and they kind of put it all together. I don't have a picture. When I do, I will show you because they're amazing. ASB elections, as well as the class officer elections, are happening. I think the ASB ones are happening this month, and then the class up in April, just to get started on what's happening this year with our officers and stuff. So if you'd like to join ASB, go ahead. Not you guys, unfortunately, but. We're also having a starry night at City's Dance on March 27th. We're very excited. We did Sadie's last year. Not really tradition of ours, kind of bring it more along, so obviously we requested it, so we're trying to see how it goes.
Okay, board leadership, we have nothing. So the policy review and adoption, does the board have questions about this second reading?
It's just a procedure for review.
We have no unfinished business, we have no new business. So basically, the meeting's adjourned. That went fast.